Over the last 10 years, I worked really hard at being happy. When I was younger, that was an impossible task, seemingly. But I've found since I was 18 years old, I took myself off of all the antidepressants they had put me on when I was a kid, and I worked at figuring out how to be proactive about my own mental health. And what I learned is that it's easier to be sad or anxious or uncomfortable, or that's the easier way. And there's a physiological reason for that. In your brain, it's, I told the lady, it's kind of like if you go the same way somewhere every day, and that's your path, and you know that way really well, you know all the turns and all the landmarks, and you know where it goes. That's an easy, well-wrought path for you to take. But if you take a different day one day, and maybe it's a dirt road, and it has turns that you're unexpecting, and there's a deer or whatever, it's going to be harder to go that way. You can't be on autopilot. You have to, pay more attention. But if you take that side road for long enough, eventually, that becomes easy as well. The same thing works with the neural pathways in your brain. If you've thought a thought over and over and over again, when you realize you're not, it's easy to think that thought because there's no resistance and that neural pathway is deep and strong. But if you try to change that thought, say for a long time, you find that you've been telling yourself that I'm not worthy of love. And then one day you decide, well, I'm going to try to think something else. I'm worthy of love. That's physiologically harder at first. So don't get downtrodden if change takes time, because you do have to work that new pathway. But I'm here to tell you that eventually it becomes habit, and then it becomes easy, and then it just becomes a part of who you are. So I'm a really positive person now, but I worked really hard to get here. And it's work worth doing, and I highly recommend it. So I guess I was just going to talk about tools just because it's so interesting, all the tools we're working with. I've been working with a shovel a lot. You guys are probably working with paintbrushes or power tools or whatever. The tools that we use that help us do things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Our emotions are tools. It's our way of communicating with ourselves. And so it's tricky when those get diagnosed as, unbalanced. I think that's a reflection of the world currently at large, but so I'm working to, I suppose, balance myself and thereby be the change I wish to see in the world. But our emotions are tools, and so it's just a matter of, without judgment, being aware, So when I'm sad now, I don't beat myself up for being sad again, oh gosh, and get in a tizzy like I may have used to. I'm more proactive, okay, well, I may allow myself to fully feel this feeling, because I must be feeling it for a reason, and feel where I'm feeling it in my body specifically. And if I'm having trouble and it's a reoccurring pain or uncomfortableness, I'll even close my eyes and ask myself, tune into that part of my body and say, what are you trying to tell me, self? It's interesting the ways that our body communicates, that just once we tune in or bring awareness. And that may be different for everybody, but just there's lots of different little tools, muscle testing was one that I really liked that someone taught me, that it's just that your body, and it's tricky because I wish I could do a demonstration because it totally works, but where your body can tell you. I do this thing now where if I I don't know, if I'm looking at a chicken salad sandwich and I don't know if that chicken salad sandwich is going to be good for me or not, I'll muscle test and I'll think about the chicken salad sandwich and be like, is this good for me? And if it is, I'll be really strong and I can't break this connection that I'm doing. But if it's a bad chicken salad sandwich, I'm my body's no, that's not going to benefit you. And I've not listened to that and turned out it was a bad chicken salad sandwich. So, but that's just an example. There was no chicken salad sandwich. The work worth doing is never easy. As you guys know, we're doing work all the time that we're taking on upon ourselves as extra. Nobody's making us help other people or, I don't know, go out of our way to make strangers. Abraham Lincoln said that all acts are selfish, but another friend of mine said that's worked within the system. It's, so that when you do something good for somebody else, yeah, it's selfish because it makes you feel good too, but that's just the system benefiting you and that's sort of inherent in it. I could talk endlessly with words to try to explain lots of different things. But at the end of the day, wow. I had a point that I was going, but I guess I wasn't supposed to make it, so it ran away. That's the thing too, I used to be so upset, because I'm a very, fluid-minded person, if you can't tell already. And when I'd lose a thought, I'd just try so hard to be like, no, gosh, if I could just grasp it and make it come back, get back in there. But gosh, what a frustrating experience. So over the last couple of years now, I'm like, you know what? If that thought leaves my head, then it wasn't meant for me to say it. Even if it means I'm standing up here and I don't know what I was going to say. It's just not what I was supposed to say, so I allow that and I feel better about it. I have ease. There's lots of different tools for lots of different things because we're lots of different people. Just like you can use a hammer, you can use a screwdriver, but you can't, blah. So not everything that works for me is going to work for anybody else, and I find I'm amassing them. Oh, but the thing that works for everybody, no matter what, is a deep breath and a glass of water. No exceptions. Every single one of you needs lots of oxygen and lots of water. You know you're supposed to drink like a half gallon a day? They say like 8 glasses of water, but when you really put it together, it's a half gallon. And I keep one with me all the time, and that's hard to drink in one day. And I thought I was doing pretty good, but some days it's hard. So anyway. I don't know. Have a great night. The end.